Welcome back, folks. Hopefully you guys are doing well. I'm Graham Juice Matthews, and this is the Random Video Blog, where every Friday I give my rambling thoughts in the world of wrestling and everything else going on in the world around me, share some stories, and etc., etc. Originally here in the video blog, I actually taped the video on Wednesday about me and my experience meeting Scott Hall from a year ago last week, but with everything that happened yesterday, I thought it wouldn't be right to post that video. I was about to post that video up until like an hour ago, and I thought, you know what, I think it's probably better. I was going to maybe wait until next year, like wait until the anniversary to talk about it, but I think it's far too late at that point, so I thought it'd just be better to address it here in today's video blog. Well, first of all, my thoughts on Dusty Rhodes passing, and very abrupt and unfortunate passing, are up on my Facebook post. I put up on my Facebook page. I put a post up about it immediately afterwards, yesterday afternoon. If you go to the page, facebook.com, it's in the links below, facebook.com/graham.gsm.matthews. It's up there. I'll probably talk about it on Wrestle Rant Radio next week. The excerpt will probably be up here on the channel, either Wednesday or Thursday. But anyway, just to give my brief thoughts on it here, I've talked about it ad nauseum on Twitter as well, but I thought it'd be only fitting and only respectful enough to do a video blog on it on the incident from yesterday here on the YouTube channel. So yesterday, of course, unfortunately, Dusty Rhodes, WWE legend, passed away. Pro wrestling legend, passed away at the age of 69, way too soon. You know, it always sucks when we have a legend pass away, whether it's Mae Young, Paul Bearer, The Ultimate Warrior. But I did a whole video blog when Ultimate Warrior passed away last year. And the things that it bothers me when someone like a Mae Young passes away, or a Vern Gagne, or something like that, like Christopher Lee when he passed away yesterday. A very notorious legend, or just a very famous actor, known for playing the part of Dracula and everything else. So when I heard that he passed away yesterday, I mean, God rest his soul, went down swinging at the age of 93, which is absolutely amazing. So, God rest his soul. I heard that, like, wow, that's very unfortunate. I mean, not to say that the guy was going to go any day now, but to live until 80 to 93, and I think he passed away of heart failure, maybe. He lived a very, very full life, so, prayers and thoughts with his friends and family. But then a couple hours later, I was on Twitter. I mean, it's always via Twitter when the news breaks, that I heard that Dusty Rhodes passed away. Now, for me, I mean, it's more than, when Vern Gagne passed away, that was a big thing. Or when, again, a Christopher Lee passed away. He was not a wrestling legend, but you know what I mean. I'm trying to think of other people, a Billy Robinson or a Doug McDonald. I think he was in elderly age, not in like a 50s, 60s. Maybe not, correct me if I'm wrong. But when like a Mae Young, I think is a perfect example. I was very upset when she passed away, but she was like 90-something years old. So she obviously lived a very full life. She was, I think she was just kind of passing away of natural causes. So, but with the Dusty Rhodes, a guy that lives the age of 69, still had a number of years ahead of him. Very abrupt as well, who was also on TV more than anyone else that has passed away in the last couple of years. I mean, Macho Man Randy Savage, a huge blow to the wrestling industry. But other than Warrior, it was kind of like that same kind of thing where he was on TV just recently. I know he was on Raw a couple months ago doing the Cody Rhodes and Goldust angle. He's been working for WWE, a part of the Performance Center. And I'm not going to go on a whole diatribe here about, the legacy they left behind. I think that's all pretty well documented. One of the greatest performers in wrestling history. Now, I watched a video yesterday, I think last night before SmackDown, about, I think Jonathan Coachman, it was. He did a tribute to the American Dream, to Dusty Rhodes, on ESPN yesterday, and he talked about how he was not a great wrestler. He was just, he was a terrible wrestler. I can't account for that. I've only seen very few of his matches back, when he was in his prime in the 60s, 70s, 80s. So I can't really attest to that. I've only seen, from watching old past WrestleManias and pay-per-views from the 80s and so on and so forth. But he said that he was a terrible wrestler, but he was an amazing entertainer, one of the greatest entertainers of all time, and I can absolutely agree with that sentiment. And I would easily put him either among or, atop of those, or if not number one of those greatest talkers of all time. Not only in WWE, just more so his pre-WWE work, post-WWE work in AWA, NWA, WCW, etc., and all the territories, will go down as one of the greatest talkers in wrestling history. Not only that, but very influential to the careers of many. The support that everyone tweeted out, which was very heartbreaking to read, especially other photos. The guy was a very happy and genuine guy. Very influential to the careers of Paige, Alex Riley. I know there's a whole bunch. I'm not everyone in NXT. I'm just reading the tweets of everyone in NXT. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens posted two very Very sentimental thoughts on Twitter yesterday. Very, very heartbreaking to read. Those guys and Adrian Neville on the main roster now, a lot of those people were very much influenced by the amazing mind that was Dusty Rhodes and all the huge impact that he had on NXT since its rebranding a number of years ago, serving as a trainer, a coach, and a mentor to many. So I'm very sad to see that, but also very happy to see those celebrating his legacy. And I think he was on NXT TV, not consistently, but for a while as the NXT general manager before JBL took over, before William Regal took over, and I think just last year JBL took over the year prior. But Dusty Rhodes was on TV as the GM for a while. But anyway, my fondest memories of Dusty Rhodes, like I said, I've only been in wrestling for 7 years. I'm a mark. I'm a babyface fan, whatever you want to call me. So I was not around for his best work, although I've seen some of it. So I can't really call like his matches from WCW or before that my favorite Dusty moments. I mean, the only Dusty moments that I really have are the moments that I have I've seen him on WWE TV since I became a fan in 2008. So when he guest hosted Raw in 2009, I was watching yesterday, very funny to see, when he was dancing backstage, this was the funny skit, when he was dancing backstage with Cody Rhodes and Goldust, his two sons, which I'll talk about in a second. I think at Old School 2010, that was a very cool moment. And then easily, anyone like me that was not around for his days as a wrestler and as a performer back in the 80s has to agree with me here. The best memories that I have of Dusty Rhodes in the last couple of years have to be when he was on TV back in 2013, doing the whole thing with Goldust and Cody Rhodes. I don't think I had watched that match back up until just yesterday, but just that whole angle. I mean, for a time when wrestling was such shit in the final few months of 2013, and you have that whole angle with the Rhodes family versus the Shield versus Evolution versus the Authority. Easily the best thing going in WWE at that time. It's so much fun to watch. It was so great. I mean, I had not watched that match back since it initially happened, up in 2 years ago. So I watched it last night. It's so great to see the happiness on Dusty's face. His music, the American Dream music, one of my favorite legendary themes of all time, one of my favorite Legends themes in WWE history. That blaring in the background, Cody Rhodes, just absolutely amped up when he hits the greatest crossroads that I've ever seen. Goldust screaming, "Yes, we did it! Yes, we're back at work!" And they're celebrating with all the guys at the top of the stage. A very, very very, very touching and a very heartfelt moment. Easily my favorite Dusty Rhodes moment from the last couple of years. But speaking of Cody Rhodes and Goldust, I mean, this whole situation to me, I mean, although it's very heartbreaking to see Dusty Rhodes pass away, and you see someone that's been on TV consistently, is still part of the company over the last couple of years pass away, it's like a part of you dies on the inside. It's like you're almost attached to these guys as like they're your family, So it's very sad to see. But much like with the Warriors situation from a couple years ago, from last year, when he passed away, he left behind two of his children along with his wife. But just to know that those two girls are going to grow up without their father was very, very heartbreaking to me personally. And I mean, Cody Rhodes and Goldust are two grown men, so it's not that exact same situation, but to know that they're still in the company. And I was talking back, and I broke the news to John. He was a huge Dusty Rhodes fan. I'll talk about that in a second too. But to know that he won't be around to see his son win the big one, as he should. Cody Rhodes should be world champion right now. I mean, I know it sucks to say it's not relevant. It's not relevant anymore. It's not top priority. But they really freaking should have done Cody Rhodes versus Goldust. I mean, I live with no regrets, but it's really a shame that they didn't do that match at WrestleMania this year. I mean, of all the years I could have done it, I wrote a whole Bleacher Report article about it back in March. But to not do that match at WrestleMania with Dusty as the special guest referee is something I'll never really understand, why they never did it. The multiple chances they had. And Cody Rhodes I've always been very high on. I think he's great. And I mean, people will say he's not over, he's not world champion material. I say BS. I don't think that at all. I think he is absolutely a star. I think the guy's great, and he has been for a very long time. If you go back to his 2011 days as a heel, and I mean, breaking out as a babyface in 2013, I think was their opportune time to turn this guy into a huge star, and he was so freaking over at the 2013 Money in the Bank pay-per-view. I was watching it a couple days ago. I reviewed it here with the channel. It's actually, the review's going to be up tomorrow here up on the channel. I reviewed it a couple days ago. But, it's a shame. It's really a shame. And I mean, is now the time to turn it back into Cody Rhodes? Absolutely. I've never been a Stardust fan. I think it's been shit since the start. I've never been a fan of the whole Stardust crap. Hopefully this is the time they revert him back to being Cody Rhodes as he should have been all along. So my final Dusty Rhodes story here, other than my favorite moments and memories of Dusty Rhodes, on WWE TV, I had the awesome honor of being able to meet him a couple years ago, 5 years ago from last month exactly, to be exact. It was at a Northeast Wrestling show. I mean, I bring up them all the time, but they're an amazing company, which have, given me the opportunity to meet so many great legends and WWE alumni, TNA alumni, and so many people I looked up to. And Dusty Rhodes was among them. We went to go meet him, John and I, 5 years ago, May 1st, 2010. I have the event right here. My dad used to buy me all the shows that we used to go to. Rocky Hill CT. You could probably buy it on NortheastWrestling.com. He was at the show. Booker T, Tommy Dreamer, who I got a picture with. And Booker T, I got his signature on that night as well. But yeah, it was really cool to be able to meet him. I mean, John texted me last August, I think it was, like, wow, do you remember this? It was a picture of him and Dusty. And it's on his newest article, by the way, and I'll plug that at the end of this little story here. He's like, wow, do you remember this? I mean, this was back when I was a babyface mark. We were both babyface marks. We didn't truly appreciate the legend that was Dusty Rhodes at that time. Not really, oh, wow, we're freaking meeting Dusty Rhodes. We're like, oh, that's the father of Goldust. You know what I mean? We're just total marks. We're just total babyface fans. But being able to meet him, I mean, I said the same thing back when Warrior passed away. That was, I mean, again, I don't live with regrets. I hate regretting shit. But, one of my biggest, things I wish I could have done was going to meet the Warrior in March of 2012 when he appeared at that event with Matt Hardy. And I mean, like I said, I don't like regretting things, but that is one thing I do regret not doing, is going to meet him at that show. And in retrospect, I'm very happy I was able to meet Dusty Rhodes. I mean, everyone's going to pass away eventually. I hate to get all morbid on you and all that other crap, but especially the legends and stuff like that, meeting Dusty Rhodes, Ted DiBiase, and seeing all these people live and stuff like that, all these great legends, Rey Mysterio and people like that. I think it's going to an indie event, don't pass up the opportunity. Like, oh, this guy's going to be in town, I'll catch him the next time. And sometimes that may be the case, but may not always be. And Kevin Owens posted a very heartfelt tweet, as I mentioned before, about, tell your parents, your loved ones that you love them, because you never know what tomorrow might bring. It's a great way to live. That's a great way, a great message to send. The biggest takeaway from all of this, you never know what tomorrow might bring. So, again, I hate to get all inspirational and morbid and all that other crap on you, but just something to keep in mind. But as I mentioned before, John's full thoughts on the whole situation, a very beautiful piece, shed a tear just reading it, on nextEraWrestling.net right now. It's the front page for right now, so make sure to check it out under the columnist corner. Great piece by my buddy at _John's Jargon. But as I mentioned before, it's great. I mean, if anything, it's always great to see these guys, everyone in the wrestling community, come together for a very sad death, a very sad passing of Dusty Rhodes, one of the biggest names, one of the greatest performers in pro wrestling history. I'm very happy I was able to meet him. I got a great picture with him. I got a great picture of him at the autograph signing at that Northeast Wrestling show. I'm going to use that as the thumbnail for this video. I got a couple other pictures on Twitter and on Facebook. Like I said, for my full thoughts on it, check out Facebook, check out Twitter at WrestleRant, Facebook.com/Graham.GSM.Matthews. My full thoughts on the situation. We're breaking it down on WrestleRant Radio this upcoming Tuesday. But as I mentioned, very sad to see. I mean, whenever someone passes away, you know they're a true wrestling icon when your non-wrestling friends and family members text you like, did you hear Dusty Rhodes passed away? You're not going to like to hear this, and stuff like that. I got texts from my stepdad, my father, my brother, my uncle who texted me. I went to MMA and people were talking about not Dusty Rhodes, but just wrestling in general. It's all over these different websites, all over ESPN. It's crazy, how many people will message you knowing that how you're big of a wrestling fan you are. And it really goes to show how much these icons that we look up to every single Monday night, Thursday, whatever, that you grew up watching really touch the hearts of not only us, but people worldwide who either haven't watched wrestling in years or just never watched wrestling, hear of the news, and think of you. I mean, it's great to see, and it's awesome to see the wrestling community to come together to not only mourn the death of Dusty Rhodes, but to celebrate the legacy of the American Dream. So Dusty Rhodes, so happy meeting you. Hopefully we can cross roads once again down in the future. Up in heaven, my brother, thank you so much for everything you did for the wrestling industry. You're one of the greats, and you will dearly be missed. R.I.P. Dusty Rhodes.